Good morning, everyone. It's Lynn Dunn from Stamtastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. So today we're going to play around with three different card layouts, and they're very simple card layouts that you can use with scrap papers or maybe some very busy papers that you have. So I thought we would just look at these very simple designs, and I'll walk you through each of these cards that I have here. But I also put together some other cards with the exact same layout. So really what I want to accomplish today is to show you how you can use three different layouts with a variety of different supplies. So all the cards that I'm sharing today are Christmas cards, but you could certainly use this layout to create cards for any occasion. So I'm going to walk you through this, and as I walk you through these different card ideas, I'll show you the other Christmas cards that I made with the exact same layouts. So good morning. Good morning, everybody. All right, so these are the cards we're going to focus on. So this is actually a product suite called Traditions of Christmas, I believe. And I know that the designer paper is on back order right now, but it is coming back November 17th, I believe, is what I saw. So I'm just using up some little scrap pieces that I had and using up some of the busiest paper, I guess, in this particular pack. So as I walk you through these cards, you'll see how I just kind of tone down that busyness a little bit. So I am using the traditional labels stamp set to create the greetings and some of the die cut pieces for this card. Well, for all three of the cards. So let's take a look at this first one. We're going to start out with this. This is a very simple design. It's a great way to use your busy pattern paper. So you can see that this particular piece of paper is quite busy, has a lot going on in it. And sometimes you just need to tone that paper down a little bit when you're creating. So what I did with this card is I used up some little scrap pieces. I tend to get these little half-inch wide scrap pieces. I don't know if you guys do, but but I end up with a lot of them. So I just kind of used it as a little border up here at the top. And then this piece is just a 3 by 5.5. So this one is a half by 5.5, and this one's 3 by 5.5. And so basically that is going to be the background for our card. But I'm just going to turn it and adhere these pieces on here. And then we'll turn it back to decorate it. So we'll add this up towards the top. And then we'll add this big piece. There we go. And I think I'm pretty much using white for the base of most of the cards. I think it's white and Secret Sea. So if you're wondering what the colors are. So that's the basic design that you will use. Pretty simple. And then I just decided to add a piece of Secret Sea cardstock right in the middle here, just to kind of make my greeting pop. And I'll show you, let me stamp this and I'll show you why it was important to put that in there. So I'm just using Old Olive ink to do all my stamping. And I just have one of the greetings from that traditional labels. And these are the label dies that you can get with the stamp set. Of course, they coordinate with, you know, the fun little design of the stamp set here. So I just added this to this blue piece because if you try to put it on without the blue, it blends in way too much. So this is just a, let's see, this is a 1.5 by 4. Yes, 1.5 by 4. So we're just going to put this right in the middle. And then we'll just add our greeting right on top of that. So let me grab some dimensionals here. And then this will go right on. So you can see how it just brings out the greeting a little bit more than if you just put it right in the middle of that busy paper. And then I just used some of these traditional sequins just to add um, a little bit of bling up at the top. So let's just get these two on there. And that's all there is to that card. So it's a great way to use your pattern paper, especially if you have some busy pattern paper. Just put it on there. You got a nice background, and then just add a little focal point on there to kind of break up that busyness. All right, so that is the first card idea that I want to share. And I want to show you some of the other cards because, like I said, you can use this design with a variety of other supplies. So this one is the traditional labels. This one is Peaceful Garden. This comes from the Peaceful Garden suite. And then this one, actually, let's move these over. This one is from, what is it called? The Elegant, I forgot the name of the designer paper. One of you knows what it is. Elegant Snowflakes, Elegant Pines Snowflakes, something. So I just used that designer paper in the background here. And for my focal point, so for this one, I actually use the pine tree trimmings. There's a little die in here to cut out the tree. So I just cut out a tree shape and then just embossed it and added it to the front. So you can use this design in this landscape style, like I did with these two cards, or you can just turn it and use it in portrait style, depending on what you're creating, cards for. So, and I'm not sure, I didn't know that the traditional labels stamp set was not available. I know the designer paper is not available until mid-November, but I'll have to check on the stamp set. So, all right, so there's just three different ideas for you. These are all, like I said, all Christmas cards, but I wanted to just kind of show you that you can use this layout with a variety of different supplies. So as you can see, each of the focal points on these cards is just a little bit different, but the background design is basically the same. All right, so let me put this to the side here. I have to make some room now. All right, so let's put that to the side. And let's go to this card. So here's the second layout. And then for this, I have a bunch of different pieces. Let's go ahead and stamp. I'm going to stamp all my greetings right away because I'm using the same greeting on all my cards. So let's do that. Then it's done. So I'll add that one. And then we'll just do this one. So then we'll have all our greetings set for all three cards. All right, let's put this one to the side. Okay, so for this design, I decided to use some Secret Sea cardstock for the base of the card. And then I just have a 5¼ by 4" piece of white cardstock. And then I just have some different pieces that I cut. These are basically just scrap pieces that I had with this particular paper. So this is just a 3/4 by 5" piece. And the green piece is 3 3/8 by 2 7/8. So it's 3 3/8 by 2 7/8. That's going to go over here. Yeah, we're doing eighths this time. I like to do 1/4", but we're going to do eighth. And then this one is 1½ by 2 7/8. So that's what this piece is. So we'll put that on there. So 1½ by 2 7/8. So that's the basic layout. So let's actually just take that out for a second, and we're going to put this together. So I like to start at the top here and kind of get that top piece in place. Move that up a little bit. All right, and then these two pieces are just going to go right underneath it. So notice how this time I have that busy paper kind of in a smaller little piece, so it's not over, as overwhelming as it was on the last card. Okay, so that is our basic layout. And then I'll flip that over and we'll add this directly to our card front. All right. And then we just add our little focal point. You can add whatever focal point you want. I just cut out one of the floral images. I used the scissors to cut this out of the designer paper. And so this will just get tucked under there. So let's go ahead and add some of these dimensionals. And we'll add this right across here. And then we'll just add our little flower. And this will just, this will tuck under here. And that is how I decided to decorate this one. So very basic, very simple. Makes a pretty little card. And then we'll just bling it up with some of these little sequins. All right, so that is the second card. And then, of course, on the inside, you can use designer paper as well. I just added some white cardstock on the inside. All right, so let's take a look at the other two cards. So here is another landscape style card. So I'll put the two landscape style cards together. So again, that is made with the Peaceful Garden Suite products. And then this one is the third one. So it's the same layout as these two. It's just that I decorated it in this portrait style, excuse me, instead of the landscape style. So you have the versatility of using it in either orientation. All right, and then this one I just kind of added a little bit more embellishment or decoration to it. So, all right, so those are, let's see, that's the second one. So those are three different ways that you can use that. And then this last one, where did it go? Here it is. Excuse me. Yeah, must be that time of year. And then this is the last design that I have. So I'll show you how I did this. And again, this one uses up a lot of different scraps as well. So if you have a lot of scrap papers on hand, this will be a great way to use them. So we'll start, let's start with the big piece here. So this big piece is 1 7/8 by 5. And so again, that's kind of the busier paper. So 1 7/8 by 5. And the smaller pieces are 3.5 by 1 3/4 inches. So 3.5 by 1 3/4. And then this other one is 1 3/4 by 1 3/8. So those are the different pieces. So, creating with scraps is kind of like putting together a puzzle. You just kind of lay your pieces out and um, trim them down to fit onto your card. That's basically what I do. I think I showed you guys how to use up your scraps, how I kind of play around with my scraps. I lay them out on my canvas here, and then I just kind of trim them down to make them fit. So you can use little pieces like this, you can use larger pieces. It just creates a really pretty background. And it's a great way to use up your scraps. All right, so that is the basic layout. Let's add it to our card base. Let's make sure I have the card opening correctly. So this goes here. And then we'll just add our focal point. So it's the same focal point. This time it's going to be like this. So I'm actually going to add a little bit of glue here, I think. We'll hang on to this flower. And then we'll add our dimensionals. Oh, no, that's a little too close, but that's all right. Okay, so let's add this. And then I'll show you the other card ideas. All right, so this is just going to go right up at the top. And then we'll add a couple of these little sequins. And there we go. All right, so that is the third card idea. And I'll show you what the other ones look like. Let's move this out of the way here. So the other ones I put together in portrait style, both of them. So those are the portrait style ones. Let's see if I can get these on better. So here is the one with the Christmas tree, and then the peaceful garden, one with the dove, and then of course this one. So you can actually change up the design. So notice how on these cards, these two cards, I have this little rectangular piece over here. I mean, you could just change out the design. It doesn't have to be, these two pieces don't have to be in the exact same place. You can just flip them around. So that's kind of what I did with this, but I used it in this landscape style, and then these two were created in portrait style. So just a really nice, versatile card design that you can use in either orientation. All right, so let's show you all of these cards. Let me grab these. So here are the ones that I put together. These are the portrait style ones that I used, that pine tree trimmings and the elegant pine designer paper. So those are the pine tree ones. I don't think I'll be able to get them all out here, but, and then these are, let's do these. These are the three that I created with the Peaceful Garden Suite. So a variety of products from the Peaceful Garden Suite. So they're all the same layouts. It's just I use different products. So those are the Peaceful Garden. And then this one, of course, these are the ones that we just created. So let's bring these in here. All right. So that's what I wanted to share with you this morning. I just wanted to give you some different ways, some very simple card layouts, and some different ways that you can use up supplies that you already have on hand. So I like to use up my scrap pieces if I can. I like to use them up right away. And so I was just kind of playing around with using up some scraps, and I thought I would share these ideas with you. So I hope these ideas were helpful. I will get all the measurements that I went through with you on this video. I will get those out on my blog sometime either today or tomorrow. Not quite sure. Kind of a busy day today, but I will get them out on the blog for you so that you have all the measurements and you can use these to create cards for any occasion. So I hope you guys enjoyed these card ideas, and let me know which ones were your favorite. I'm having a hard time deciding between these, and I really do like this product suite. So I'd have to say these are probably my favorite. But I do really like the colors and everything on these three cards and the others. But I don't know. I like them all, I guess. But if you have a favorite, let me know. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day and a great week. And I will see you guys again next week. So take care, everybody.